Good morning, all of you. In this lecture, we are going to see the topic of insurgency. It's little bit a new topic. Why it is so? Because maximum of we people have don't have any relation with this topic, insurgency. Never, even we don't think about it because the area or the geographical area or the state where we are residing, we have never faced this type of issue. That's why we don't have any relation with these topics. But however, in the news, through the news channels, newspapers, we are hearing the news about the current situation about the insurgency or the areas where it is prevailing or the states where this type of problems have been faced. However, insurgency is again a problem of socio-economic problems. It exists in few states of India. So, in this session, we are going to deal with the term insurgency. What does it mean? Okay. Now, as we heard about the word insurgency, it means somewhere minority of the people or the people who are having very less number in the society. They try to create some revolt against the geographical area. They demand, they want to acquire that that this social group wants this area. They want to live in this area. Please free this area from government, from state government, from central government. They want to fight with the government. They want to do rebellious act opposing to the government. However, this rebellious act is not opted by all the people of that social group. It's only done by the very few people. And time to time, they try to give this revolution to a big shape. But however, it doesn't get because nowadays people are literate. They know that few people can't manage the society, can't manage that geographical area. For managing the state, for managing a bigger portion of any geographical area, we need a system, we need an administration, we need many more resources, things which already the government is having. So why don't we just follow the government rules? Why should go against the government rules? It means insurgency, it's a type of revolt, the same revolt which the Mangal Pandey has done against the British government. But however, that revolt was fruitful for our country, for India, if we think from the Mangal Pandey's point of view. But if we are thinking from the Britishers' point of view, Britishers were calling them insurgent, that he has done the rebellious act. Nowadays also in few states of India you will see there is some ethnic group, some people based on some geographical area. Time to time they demand that they want their own land, they want their own state, they want to be separated from the Indian government. However, it is not possible because already the government is facilitating them with all the schemes, all the facilities, all the rights, features with a common citizen should have. Somewhere these people are also known as the gorilla people, because they are having the character of gorilla. What type of? They always hide and then make a war. They protest. Time to time they change the pattern of protesting against the government. They try to uprise their social groups in different formats. So we can say that insurgent state is term that refers to the creation of geographical areas that not only claims independence from the larger state but whose leaders and policies and also seek to replace the existing political order and state or to become independent. Now we will see the live example of it. Have you all heard about the state Nagaland? Just beside the Nagaland, in the same state, there is a group, the group of Gorkha people. They were demanding an independent state from the Nagaland, and they want to name it as the Gorkha land, not as the Nagaland. They want to demand as the Gorkha land, and they were time to time. Generally, you will see at the time of election, just before the election, after the legislative assembly action or the parliamentary election, you will see that they start demanding that they want their own state, they want their own state on this specific basis. and the leaders of these groups are also become active at the time of politics, at the time of elections, because they know all those people who are favoring will vote them, all those people who are not favoring will not vote them, they will vote to other parties. So they time to time they think that it is the issue of their origin, issue of their birth, issue of the place of where they are residing, if they will get, and the time to time they give ear to it, this issue, that when they will get the independent state, they will be having the much more benefit, they will be having a much more currency system, they will be having a free of tax state, many types of you can say that low club at the same time, you are when you are listening the many elections promises, they were just not fulfilling it just to make the people motivate, to persuade the peoples. These type of promises were done, the same promises were also done to them. Okay, so these are the examples of insurgency, the revolt people, those who are doing the rebellious act against the government. Now we will see some more examples of insurgency, and mainly it is based in the northeast India, in the states of Tripura, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Manipur, Assam, Nagaland, and Arunachal Pradesh. Just if we go in the depth of this problem, that why it is occurring only in the northeast India, when you will visit these states, you will see that majority of the forest were in these areas, and they were least developed, they were not as much as developed as like some metro cities, because you will see that none of any states are the metro cities, neither Tripura nor Meghalaya, Mizoram, Manipur, Assam, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, they don't have very well infrastructure. So due to the existing of low developed infrastructure, the local leaders are creating the issue that when they will be having their own state, independent state, then they will be enjoyed much more benefit. They will enjoy a special package from the central government. They will enjoy many more things, and they will get maximum benefit. They will get employment. Many type of promises are made. So in these states where the people are less developed, they are having the very least infrastructure, so they can be easily moderated by these local leaders. That's why they are creating this issue time to time, and they are making the people insurgent against the administration, against the government. But now the separatism and insurgency in Northeast India has now become largely insignificant due to the lack of local public support. However, as the people will become more literate, they will just oppose it, because they know that few people can't run the government, few people can't run the state. They don't know from where the resources will come, how to utilize the resources, and already there is an existing system. So why to do revolt against that existing system? Just go through the system, because they all are literate, they know the government can take more better decisions than these local leaders, or the so-called leaders. You will see that NLCT, the National Liberation Council of Taniland, was active along the Assam. They have also made their own groups, registered groups like NLCT, active in the Assam, Arunachal Pradesh border, and its members belong to the Tani groups of people, which are demanding Tani land. They want their own state, Tani land, apart from Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. And the group enjoys no support from the local population of Arunachal Pradesh, who are fiercely pro India, and the group is all but defunct now. The Tani groups are one of the ethnic groups of Northeast India, as we have mentioned earlier, that these are the people based on different ethnic parameters, ethnic groups of Northeast India, variously known as the Maizing in Assam and Adi, Niasi, Galo, Apatni, Tagin in Arunachal Pradesh in India, as well as the Loba in China who live along the frontier of India. So, as you will see the last line, Loba in China. So, somewhere they are having connection from the neighbor countries. Somewhere they were also provoked by these ethnic groups that you have to demand for these type of people, these type of states. You have to demand for the independent state, so that it's maybe the conspiracy, that so that it can disturb our state system, it can disturb our the smooth flowing of the administration, a smooth flow of the government. They want to disturb it. That's why time to time they arise the issue of different Staniland or insurgency. Okay, so after this problem of insurgency, one more problem which the we are facing is the terrorism. You all are heard, even a small child of 5 to 6 years, you also know who is terrorist. But before moving ahead in the topic terrorism, we will see that how the terrorism is being defined or how we can define the word terrorism. If you see in the broadest sense, the use of intentional violence, because as we heard the word terrorism, it means somewhere the violence is going to happen or they are. It's their main instrument, it's their main tools to do violence and make their presence and to achieve their political aims. It is used in this regard primarily to refer to violence during peacetime or in the context of war against non-combatants. War against non-combatants, mostly civilians and military personnel. Okay, to create a general climate of fear in a population and thereby to bring about a particular objective. In such countries where threat of terrorism is high, it becomes far difficult to develop the international trade relations. Inflow of foreign investment reduces. Why it is so? Because the terrorist main aim is to disturb the economical pattern of any country. If it will be disturbed, their their purpose will be fulfilled. Their main objective will be fulfilled. Like just take the example of 9 by 11, as the terrorists have hit the World Trade Center. So somewhere they have disturbed the economy of that country. They have disturbed the economy of international market. International economy has been disturbed. That was their objective. That we can disturb you if you want to, if you don't want our promises, if you don't follow our rules, we will disturb you through the violence, through the destruction. It is their main objective. The area of terrorism. The spread of terrorism starts when the political situation is not stable and the military activities are going or ongoing in the country. Whenever you will see that political system is not stable or there are very variations in the views, in the in the thoughts of different political parties, that they give, some parties give favorism to these terrorism activities. That's why they grow more and they want to disturb their own land people. The primary causes of terrorism in India are based on political, no doubt. It is the first major reason, the religious, the ethnic, as you will see that the different ethnic people are also involved in this terrorism activities. Ideological identity driven, few people, few groups think that they don't have any identity. If they will do some violence activity, they will be start recognized. They will be having some identity that they demand this, whatever their demand is, it will be fulfilled. If it will, they will disturb any particular geographical area or any government. Linguistic, due to language also, socio-economic grievances. Few people think that they were not happy with the current government, so they go against that government and join any particular terrorism group. How it impacts the economy? It impacts directly to our economy wherever, like the main sector which can be affected is the tourism sector, like the heaven of India, Kashmir. But however, this Kashmir, the heaven of India, is being impacted by the terrorism. People don't want to go there. Tourists don't want to go there. Why it is so? Because they were having the fear that it is being disturbed by the terrorists and they can, anytime there can be violence, there anytime there can be disturbance. So they, somewhere they are disturbing the economy of India, the tourism sector economy of India, because India is getting much more from the tourism and people will get fear, they will don't move to India. Insurance sector, FDI, foreign direct investment. If a country who's involved in this terrorism activities, not any country want to invest in that country, so somewhere it will also hit foreign direct investment. Health of the state, increased nationalism and foreign skepticism. These are the impacts which we will get from the terrorism activities. So in this lecture we have gone through the first topic, that was the insurgency, and the second topic, that was the terrorism. Okay, thank you.